All right, so we call view binding, but previously we have finished the fragment find view by ID, and as we continue to the fragment view binding, all of the things that we have completed in the fragment view, find view by ID, you should repeat that to make the fragment view binding, and we can continue from the result of the fragment find view by ID. Okay, so I assume that you already watched the video of the fragment find view by ID, and you can continue to this video. So I start new project with the empty view activity. Then here I name it with the fragment view binding. So we now make the importing fragment view binding. So I have repeated all of the things need to be done in the previous project, fragment find view by ID. Now I'm ready to see the result. It's now launching on device, and then I provide my running device here, and let's see the result should be the same with the fragment find view by ID. But now here we have the project is the fragment view binding. Okay, I demonstrate this with the show message. So it's there. Go to fragment 2. Okay, successfully. Back to fragment 1 successfully. Actually, instead of start over the project from the beginning with the different project name, you can actually do the renaming of the project with the sum of the refractor, but it's kind of many steps that you have to satisfy. In this example, we are not dealing with that. So that's why we start over the project, repeated the same things that we have done in the previous project. And now here we have the fragment view binding. Okay, let's continue. So first we need to go into the Gradle here. We need to adjust a bit with the build version, build features. So you do the build features and then the view binding assign to true. That's it. And then you do the synchronize. As we can see that, okay, the project is still working well. So we continue check our main activity. So in the main activity, we have the support fragment manager, and no need to change anything from this. We just continue to the home fragment. So we have the home fragment here. So in here, we need to register the sum of the variable. So we have the var binding as from the fragment home binding. So fragment home binding. Okay, so remember the name of our fragment is home fragment. So that's why the binding should be fragment home followed by the binding. So I put it as null here, and then I also have the private binding get here as taken from the assigned from the binding. So after this, we can close the button show here and also the button go to. I forget to put this. Okay, so now we continue with this part. So this view, okay, we close, we close, we close, we close. Instead of removing this, I just put the remark. So anytime we want to go back, we can just remove the remark block there and then binding fragment home binding. We do inflate, and this is the inflator with the container and then false. So that's it. So we return here the binding root. Okay, and here we still have some of the part from the previous project. So this one is button show. So button show is now can be accessed from the binding. So that's why you put the binding here. Okay, and then the rest will be the same. And then this button go, you now put the binding there. Okay, but this cannot be button go to. Why? You remember that in using the binding, the variable should be called accordingly with the name, the way how we declare the name. So button go actually, when we see here button go is coming from the original one that we have here as the declaration of the local variable, which is from the go to fragment 2. So that's why after this local variable no more used here, we no need to use this, okay, but instead we have to call the button go to fragment 2, okay, which is originally comes from the XML that we have in our fragment home here. Okay, we see that the button go to fragment 2, so the name should be accordingly automatically adjusted with the name this way. Okay, so you have to adjust that one. Now, but button show is kind of different because button show previously at the project we declare as the local as button show, which is the same way in the fragment home here. We have a button underscore show. So if button underscore show in the binding become automatically button show like this. Okay. Now, as we see in our home fragment here, we already declared the button show previous project as this way. So that's why we don't need to change anything when calling the binding button show. Okay, so that's it. Now we can see what happened, start over the project. Let's prepare our running device. Okay, so it's now here. When we click show message, okay, still working, but now it is in the context of the binding. When you click the go to fragment, is already there, and this is already in the binding. But when we click this from the menu, fragment, we click the go to, yeah, this is working actually, but this is still in the previous term, which is using the find view by ID. As we see in the menu fragment here, we see that we still use the old version way that declare all of the variable in here. So now let's do little adjustment that we declare here the private var binding. Yeah, so the same way that you declare in the home, so you can just copy this, can copy this way. Okay, you put it in the menu fragment because exactly the same. Now you go to the this part also, you close, no need this. Okay, you can copy also from the home fragment this binding. Okay, but make sure you need to do a little adjustment with the target that we have to call, which is the fragment home become the fragment menu binding. Okay, so that's it. Don't forget Alt Enter. Fragment menu binding inflator container false. Okay, this is because I copy from the previous one. I need to check some here, which is the home binding. So actually the home binding, no need here. So I just remove fragment. Yeah. So this one should be the menu binding. So we should adjust some part actually, okay? Because I just copy, I forget to adjust this part. Must be accordingly with the name of the fragment. But now it's clear now here. We can continue with this. So the button go to, this should be adjusted because we don't have that button go to. So simply call binding and then let's see the button that we have. Button go to fragment one. Okay. So this is the button. Okay, set on click listener. And okay, so in here you can use the replace, add to backstack, and commit. You can use that, but actually you can simply like calling the go back. So in here I close this. Yeah, so you can like go back to the previous fragment in the backstack. So you just call the parent fragment manager and then you pop backstack. Okay, so it means that it remembers actually that before coming into the fragment 2, actually fragment 1 is there already. So fragment 1 and then go to fragment 2. So when you click the go to fragment 1, it's actually that the parent will be pop that the fragment 1 is already there, exists, and it will be displayed in our screen. So that's why you call the parent fragment manager pop backstack. So that's it. We already do adjustment from, yeah, we shift from the find view by ID with the binding. So now let's see the result. We run the project and then prepare the running device. So we have the screen already. Show message still okay there and go to fragment 2. Okay, now it's already in the fragment 2. From fragment 2, we click the go to fragment 1. Okay, we already go back to the fragment 1. And nothing different in the visualization here since we just changed the way of accessing the element from the findViewById become the view binding. All right, I'm gonna close this with some of the here. So I put the additional section here because the view is gone. So we release all reference to it. Now in here, we do the onDestroy, okay, and then we assign the binding become null. Yeah, so remember again that underscore binding here, we declare as the fragment menu binding. So better you, when you leave from the fragment, you destroy that. So the same also, I copy this, I put in the home fragment, and then I put it here. Okay, so destroy and then binding assign with the null. So start over the project. Okay, so once again, we try show message still there, go to fragment, okay, still, and then go back to fragment, okay, still working. And now here, we already accomplished accessing the components that we have in our XML using the findViewById. So the difference between this project and the previous one, that we activate the Gradle with the view binding features. And also in the home fragment, we declare the binding here to access the fragment component for both the home fragment and then the menu fragment. Thank you.